All right, so part 4 of this journey with having IIH. So at this point, it's winter. In winter, my symptoms are flaring horribly. I've been seen by neurology, neuro-otology, and neuro-ophthalmology. And so far, everyone is saying I might not have IIH. So right now, I'm skipping forward, I have a cerebral angiogram scheduled for next week, so I am prepping stuff, even though I feel like shit right now. But I am prepping. I'm making pickled banana peppers and some hot and sweet jalapenos, because I made taco meat and I made other stuff to go with this. But anyway, back to the story. So when the winter rolls around, I'm noticing my symptoms are flaring. I'm also noticing, we went to Missouri, and that drive was horrible. I felt like I was in a fucking blender. Like, blender, washing machine. I was fighting for my life on that car ride. My husband drove part of it, but I drove the first leg because he was sleeping, because he works nights. So it was rough trying to figure out what exactly did I need to do, because none of these doctors, or at least I felt in my opinion, that they weren't listening to me. And so I'm advocating for myself to really just to get somebody to listen to my story and to take me serious, because they keep dismissing me. They keep referring me back over to neurology for headaches and migraines. And that's fine, because I do have headaches and migraines, but no one's addressing the other issues. So because I'd had a breast reduction previously, I was in the system to be able to see a surgeon for back pain. So I end up scheduling an appointment with a neurosurgeon in January. So this neurosurgeon, he tells me, oh, nobody ever looked at your MRI. Your MRI was reading normal, but they just read what the pathologist or radiologist, whoever the hell, they just read the report, but no one actually looked at your images. And I'm thinking, that's strange, but what the fuck? Because he says, oh no, I actually think you're probably a candidate for a stent. And I'm like, wait, what? Why? He says, your MRI is showing signs of transverse sinus stenosis. And so that particular neurosurgeon only does shunting. So he referred me to a different neurosurgeon. So that neurosurgeon looked at the MRI independently, and he said, no, yeah, now I actually see bilateral transverse sinus stenosis. That's probably why the medication isn't working fully. That's why you're having all of these issues with what you're hearing. That's why you're having so much pressure. That's probably why you're having pain with the superior canal dehiscence syndrome, and you shouldn't be. It's probably all because of the pressure in your brain. I go back to neuro-ophthalmology, and this time I finally see a different neuro-ophthalmologist. And this guy is like, no, you have IH. Because at one point, the previous neuro-ophthalmologist, when I was asking him about having IIH versus migraines and some symptoms, he couldn't answer any questions, because I'm asking him, okay, if I'm having issues with the optic nerves and I'm having all these migraines, like, what do we do? And this man, swear to God, he turns around and he's like, well, I don't know, like, see neurology. And he turns around, opens the door for us to leave. So that was when I said, let me find a different neuro-ophthalmologist. And so the neuro-ophthalmologist I have now is good. But I was just confused, because no one ever looked at my MRI. No one ever actually looked at the images. At this point, I also decide maybe it's time for me to take a leave of absence. I am working on a PhD in teaching and learning. It's my now fourth year. And this year was really hard. I didn't get work done the way that I planned to. I work my ass off in this program. I'm a very high achiever, and I have been able to do nothing this year. I was going to class. I ended up filing for accommodations because at this point, I'm realizing nothing is getting better. The medication is taking the edge off, but nothing is changing. It's kind of like I'm just in this constant state of, well, better luck next time. So with being in school and trying to figure out how to navigate all of this, I'm realizing, shit's getting kind of real. So I want my life back. So I'm looking at what doctors are in networks that I can go to for a second opinion. Because of course I've done research on who doctors are who are taking care of everything, and Dr. Farjan, however you pronounce his name, he's not network for me, and I don't have money to pay for that. So I decided to get a second opinion over at Wash U because my parents live in St. Louis, and so it takes time just to get in the system. And I end up over there, kind of get disregarded by that neurologist and the neuro-ophthalmologist at Wash U. But then I go back to my original doctor, or my original neurosurgeon, and he is the one that is just like, hey, you should probably have this stent done. A stent might not help everything, but it might help the majority of the symptoms of yours that are not being helped by medication. So that's why I decided just to go ahead and do the cerebral angiogram and venogram, just to see maybe this is it. Maybe this will be the thing that gives me a little bit of relief, because I have had no relief. This disorder has completely disrupted my life. Back in March, I also note that I'm having just this odd rash. Get a referral to dermatology. The dermatologist is like, yeah, no, this isn't a rash, but does anyone in your family have rheumatoid arthritis? Like, actually quite a few. So we send off for blood work and a biopsy, and it's either rheumatoid arthritis or it's lupus. So at this point, I'm still in school. Like, during all of this, I am going to class this semester. I got accommodations for the red migraine glasses that I have, extra time, being able to leave class, because I would need to leave class frequently just to go lay down because my head was pounding so bad. There are days when it would be raining out and I would try to go to class. I would go and my husband would have to come and pick me up. Like, there was one class where I don't think I made it 15 minutes and he had to come and pick me up because I thought that I could do it and I couldn't. So outside of accommodations, and then also I got a lot of help. I had some really great professors this semester, so I also got accommodations on assignments as defined by like my accommodations letter. But just outside of all of that, I realized I can't continue like this for another semester, especially when this is the big semester when I'm going to do my qualifying exam and hopefully go from a doctoral student to a candidate. I'm worried about my funding being impacted, partially because my area of research is being directly impacted by the federal funds that are being cut, because I research Black girls in math, which is a DEI topic. So at this point I decide, hey, I'm too stressed to deal with all of this. I can't deal with my health and school. So now we file for medical leave and see where that journey goes. So I guess part 5 will be more about the cerebral angiogram and all that's coming up in the next week.